Well, hello again, I'm back here with another update. I have found my hiking trail. I see the boards that I laid down in the past here. But yeah, I have found my old hiking trail. Just trying to figure out which way it went. It went this way. This is a hiking trail that I created through here. A lot of work to cut through this thicket to get a trail through here. And yeah, it has grown out a bit, but it's still definitely in halfway decent shape. So I'm going to give an update on my present situation. I did agree on a price with the person. The deed has already been drawn up for the property transference. So I'm just waiting on the finalization of things. And then of course the big question is, well, what am I going to do with my property? Am I going to stay here? Or am I going to head up there, because there is an apartment opening up there soon in that building. And then another new development today, which might help answer that question, perhaps, I'm not sure yet, but I have neighbors on one side of me that recently put a place on their property. They're living there now, close by. And I went over there to ask them about the garbage pickup, if that has changed since I've been here last. And it has. But the chiropractor and his wife, I met his wife, and he was just called back to work. He got laid off from this virus situation, but he has gone back to work now. And she told me that she is interested in my property. She is interested in buying my property off me. I'm trying to figure out which way this trail goes. I don't remember. Looks like it may head that way. So she is interested. My neighbor and her husband are interested in purchasing my property, because I don't want anything built next to them. What they plan on doing, if they buy the property, they're just going to get rid of the mobile home and keep the property in its natural state as a buffer for them which sits very well with me, because then I know those trees are not going to get cut that are on my property. They are unlikely to cut them. I would like to see those trees preserved. There's another board that I laid down to get me. This is a pretty muddy spot here, and I laid down a board right here that I'm on. It's still there. And yeah, it's kind of hard to track this thing after so long. All my markings on the trees are gone now. So it goes this way. So if they really are interested in buying this property, I've just said, well, if I want to go that way, what's the point of trying to do anything more to this property if I can sell it? I do have a place to go from here. So yeah, things are coming together. Because that would put more money in my pocket as a cushion. As I am going into this, yeah, the more money I have as a cushion, the better. If perhaps in future I want to get back out in the country to live, it shouldn't be too hard to pick up another property in that area. So yeah, from here, I don't quite remember where the trail goes. I'm going to take a stab at it. So I am coming up to the section where they cut. So yeah, it's going to be impossible probably to follow the trail beyond here. Yep, this is where they did all the cutting from this point on. This used to be a very narrow little trail. They really widened it out considerably here. Yeah, again, I'm pretty sure the trail would be about impossible to follow. But it continued in this direction. And then eventually it went on the far side of that bog on my last video. It went around the other side of it. So perhaps that part of the trail might still be intact. I'm just curious as to where this goes now. So again, if my neighbor does decide to purchase the property, she said she's very interested, her and her husband. Seems like they really want that property, so I have to decide now, is it worth trying to stay there or just get it off my hands? They, again, have said that they're just gonna get rid of the mobile home if they buy the property and leave it in its natural state, which it really sits well with me. Of course, then I'll be living in the apartment building, and the apartment building is right in town. Within walking distance of the Canadian border, easy walking distance. I mean, it's less than a mile from the bridge that goes to Edmundston, Canada, New Brunswick. And there's lots of wilderness in that area. They got the Allagash Wilderness Waterway, which is not far from there. So yeah, that looks like at this point, yeah, as I said earlier, the deed has already been drawn up for me to take possession of the property. It's just a matter of when we can sit down and finish everything up with this transaction, and then at that point I have to decide what I'm going to do with the property. Am I going to sell it to my neighbors? If so, how much am I going to ask for the property from them? And work that out with them if I decide I want to go that way with it. So my goal is to shoot for $20,000 from this property that I currently own. See if they'll go with that figure. That will put $20,000 extra in my pocket to get off this ground with for buying up this building here. And then I won't have to worry about fixing this place up. So that's going to be it. I'm probably going to walk out to the road from here. I had the end of this on the last video, where this comes out at. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do much with the property today, given the fact that it's possible that I might sell this thing anyway. Why put effort into it if there's even a possibility that I have a potential buyer for it? Yesterday I did replace the elements on the hot water heater and found to my dismay that the heater is still full of water. My daughter was supposed to have emptied it some time ago and never did. So the water shot out at me as I was taking the top element off, and all I could do was run, grab a pot, try to get as much of it in the pot as I could. Thankfully, it was a very warm day, dry, so I got a bunch of towels, set them on a rug near the water heater, and it's dry now. And the towels are all dry as well. Because the relative humidity here must be like 10-20% right now. Everything's instantly drying. Even the pond in front of my house is gone now. So I found another water source along this road here. Perfect, where I could dip my bottles in. It was a stream. It was deep enough to dip my bottles in and fill them up. And the water is pristine water. Probably drinkable. So this is the road. It comes out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk further up this road today and see how much of my trail further up is still intact beyond the bog. There is a nice little river that runs through there beyond there. And the trail comes out at the river onto this road. I have it running across the road, going on the other side of the road at that point. And then it continues on to the border. That's going to be it for this video. Things just keep clarifying, coming together with this whole thing amazingly.